Hello everyone! We teachers are constantly thinking what to do to improve our teaching, how to be more efficient in the classroom, how to be more approachable, and the most important, be interesting and innovative. That's why I decided for a new approach, which is called Socratic seminar. Firstly, what could be the reasons for Socratic seminar in maths? We all know Chinese kids are good in solving problems, but poor in interpreting and analyzing their procedures. We all want to encourage students to revise all the theory at the end of semester. When creating good questions, students learn much more than just answering questions, I believe that we all know. And students have to learn how to build off each other's ideas. And then I have my personal reasons for Socratic seminar. Usually at the end of the semester we had oral testing going on. Oral testing meant I was asking questions individually and students have to stand up, answer the questions. I noted plus minus and students said. This was quite frightening for the students, so reason number one for me, it is I want to eliminate fear from the classroom. Reason number two. Very often one student is speaking and the other 20 are just sitting there listening, doing nothing. What we all want that if a student is talking, everyone else is listening. And how to develop this? Students should develop respect for each other. And this is the reason number two, developing respect. One of my big personal targets of my teaching is create critical thinkers and not just passive learners. And the last reason, it might be a bit cruel, but my students are very often super confident because they can write and solve problems, even though they cannot explain and speak. This means I want to remind them that being able to solve problems will not make them outstanding students. So these were my reasons and goals for my Socratic seminar. I definitely didn't achieve everything what I wanted, but I did learn a lot. And I will just share with you guys in addition what happened. Before I show a few videos, I have to explain what the rules of the game were. I told the kids 1 week before the planned Socratic seminar to revise the theory and find 3 questions which they would like to get an answer to. Of course, students interpreted these instructions in several different ways. Some students came up with simple questions, which were answered immediately.
If f of x is a odd function and g of x is a even function, then what is f times g of x?
What is the product?
Alan.
Odd function.
Yeah, that's correct. We should give him a...
Right? Very good one. So who will be next one? Continue with questions. And some came up with questions they don't know how to answer.
We have n choose r, and that formula is n factorial over n minus r factorial times r factorial. And why we need to time that r factorial? Like, really, I don't understand that. Okay, remember.
Because when you're choosing, like, the order doesn't matter, so you have to have it over the, like, how you can order the R elements. Because
yeah, but why it would repeat r times? R factorial
because
times.
if you, like, RPR is how you can order R elements, and that is R factorial. So you have to use the result to go over R factorial because the order doesn't matter. So all those different orders is the same solution when you're choosing. So that's why you need to to have R factorial. Yeah.
Okay, like for every R elements you choose, there will always be R factorial arrangements if they're different from each other.
And some just presented the problem, which was not done in the class, but they are interested how it goes.
So why is the derivatives of the sum is equals to the sum of the derivatives? One derivatives of the sum equals to the sum of the derivatives.
Oh yes.
Who wants to comment?
This I can. Yeah, okay. But I'll understand.
Why we use frequency density in histograms instead of using frequency?
So why?
Sarah.
Because sometimes the class width is not equal. So there are different class widths. Like the first one maybe is 5, the other one is 10. And as the frequency should be proportional with the class width. So we need the frequency density, which is the frequency over class width. So in this way, it's proportional, and the histogram makes sense.
I have
Or
a
it-
question related to this one. I have a question related to this one.
I
So-
also still have a question related to
Oh, okay.
this. But this can ask.
Okay.
Many of them came up with questions which are very straightforward and solvable. So they just used whiteboard to solve them. Here I had to warn them several times that the purpose of the Socratic seminar is not to show off with their calculation techniques, but a discussion. We conducted Socratic seminar in 3 different classrooms, and at the end of each Socratic seminar, my feelings were very mixed. I didn't know whether I'm satisfied, whether the students are, so I prepared a questionnaire for the students. Some of them filled the questionnaire in at the end of the class after the Socratic seminar, and the others 2 days later. Anyhow, the results were quite interesting. Here we can see the questionnaire. I will just briefly describe 3 statements, how the students strongly disagree, are they undecided or agree. The first statement: I would like this type of revision always at the end of semester. Overall, in pre-calculus group, they were the most awkward and embarrassed, so in my opinion, it was the worst usage of 2 hours. But at the end, all of them said they want to repeat this discussion technique again. We see 1/4 is undecided or disagrees, which accounts for the better students. I have few students who feel joy and satisfaction at the end if they learn something new. So the point of this discussion was revision, which means that it was not designed for top students. The second statement that I was interested in was whether preparing questions at home forced them to revise the notes and the theory. As we see, 84% is saying that they did revise the notes because of this Socratic seminar. This is something that was my goal and achievable. And what is one of the most important personal traits of IB students is developing respect for each other's opinion. And I'm very happy to see that 90% of the students think that they develop respect to others in the Socratic seminar. Many students wrote a lot on their questionnaires because they had 2 open questions. They have many good suggestions, which I will definitely use in next Socratic seminar. For now, I decided I will definitely change few things. First thing is that I will ask them to prepare 2 sets of questions. First questions should be simple questions which are just reviewing the things that were done at school. This means that they are coming from the current syllabus. And they should be questioning their peers and just to check overall understanding. And who wants to will create also a question which goes beyond the syllabus. As here in this Socratic seminar, many questions were, and that's why the poorer kids were a bit excluded from the discussion. It is also seen that many students were talking all the time, but many students were not talking at all. This means that according to their suggestions, it's nice if we chose a student randomly. And if we have questions prepared which are basic, we can choose a student randomly who is answering and questioning. So everyone will have an equal chance to be participating. One of the options is also that few days before, we assign each student with just one specific topic. There was one topic all the time like derivatives, it was a big discussion, but there were some other topics left out, for example, binomial theorem in A level. So this would be one possibility to improve. And what is not for me to improve, but for the students, many students admitted that they hadn't prepared well and they will do better in the future. And here I am counting on the students, and I trust them that they will, because mostly they were very satisfied with the seminar, but not satisfied with their performance. There is a lot what I have learned. I have seen that many students are in reality much more talkative than I imagined before, or the opposite. Some were talkative during the classes, but were quite quiet during the Socratic seminar. Once again, I was convinced that I should show all the theorems and proofs, because many students value and they like being taught proper math. I shouldn't underestimate their power of language, especially 2 groups out of 3 didn't have problems completing each other's sentences at all. And in the future, I should use this type of revision to encourage weaker students to speak out, either questioning or answering. According to everything said, you can decide, is it worth it spending 2 hours sitting in a circle, discussing about math problems or not? I think it is. If nothing else, we at least spend 2 hours of math a bit differently, which will definitely be kept in our hearts. Thank you for listening, thank you for watching. I hope you can do some Socratic seminars in math in your classes as well.